What's up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. And as y'all creep into the door, hit the like button as you come in. This is this is like pop-up shop live stream. I didn't expect to be doing this one, but I saw something that made me decide to go ahead and lay one out. And I don't plan on taking a long time. I don't plan on taking a long time with this one. Uh, but I do want to kind of address a few things. I see you, Jimmy. As y'all come in, please hit that like button for your big brother, and we'll get right into it. Like I said, I really don't want to take a long time. I know it's Sunday, and I know a lot of people, got to get up, go to work tomorrow, and school, and things of that nature, and just it's late, and I know I do these things late. I say that on every video, but uh, I posted a video the other day where I was uh, praising brother Andrew Wiggins that plays for the Golden State Warriors, and him and Kyrie Irving and another brother who I saw later for the Orlando Magic named Jonathan Isaacs, who was standing strong for their right to make decisions with their own bodies and to basically deny getting punched in the arm. And Wiggins really, in my opinion, that day he handled himself very well with the media. He handled himself in a way that was direct, and he let them know that the things that he wanted to do and his system of beliefs um, was his choice, and it was none of their business. And myself and a lot of other people applauded him for that. But recently, we just found out that he uh, changed directions, and he did decide to allow himself to get. So that's what made me want to talk about, and that's what made me name the title of this live what it is. And again, it's not to demean Andrew Wiggins. I'm not making this to try to be disrespectful. I'm not talking down on him in any way. I don't mean to do that. That's not my intention. Um, my intention is basically to just lay out an overall principle uh, to make us understand how the pressures that are applied on us by this world, this dirty world that we live in, the pressures that are applied on us uh, have the ability to make us succumb. We will succumb to those pressures, man, if if we're not firmly rooted in our system of belief. And the ability for them to do that, as I mentioned another time, is all based on what they provide for you. And in general, what they provide for us is livelihood, is money, it's a lifestyle. And when that lifestyle is jeopardized, when that lifestyle is put in jeopardy based on the possibility of getting your water cut off, your money stream cut off, because you took a stand that you were well within your rights to take, then that is absolutely the equivalent of popping under the pressure. So pressure busts pipes and it busts people because a threat was placed over his head, just like a threat has been placed over Kyrie Irving's head and other athletes and other people in just regular jobs. That threat has been placed over their heads, and what follows the threat I see you, young pro. Young pro, I need to holler at you. What follows the threat is a fear. They threaten you, and then when you start to contemplate what you can lose from that threat, it puts you in a position of fear because you start to think like, whoa, I got a mortgage. Whoa, I got a family. Whoa, I got car notes. Whoa, I got this. Whoa, I got that. I got all these things. And and a lifestyle. I've developed a lifestyle. I've created a lifestyle for myself that's based around the amount of revenue that I generate. And now the fear kicks in, the fear of losing that. One of the reporters asked him that very question or made that statement. The reporter said, well, you stand to lose a lot of money if you don't do this, or even if you well, if you don't do it, or and you decided that I'm gonna not play or not get paid, or I'm gonna quit. And Andrew Wiggins said, that's my problem, not yours, which was a great response. But um, my assumption is that, he thought about it, and maybe somebody spoke to him, maybe somebody got in his ear and started talking to him about it and started to, I guess, make him understand the gravity of the situation from that perspective, that financial perspective. And in doing so, it possibly made him say, all right, I'll do it. And because people will absolutely do things that they don't want to do for a number of reasons. We've all done it. And sometimes we will do things that we don't want to do because we may be willing to sacrifice for ourselves, but there are other people who depend on us. And we're like, man, if I don't do this, then this person is gonna suffer. My family, my children are gonna suffer. I'll sacrifice and do it. And not knowing that that should not even be a reason for us to go against those principles, because now you've given a part of yourself that in most cases you can't ever get back. You can't ever get back that part of yourself that you've given up. And in this particular situation, when you give up a physical part of yourself, when you allow your physical to be um, violated, or you've allowed your physical to be compromised in a way that cannot be reversed now, and you were clearly against that from the very beginning, now that makes it a tough thing to do. It makes it tough to look into that mirror on a daily basis. And you have your reason. It's nobody's place to judge. Whatever his reasons are, those were his reasons. But based on the prior clips that I've seen, and the information and the things that he said prior to this, it's absolutely understood that this is not something that he wanted to do. And it's not something that he would have chosen to do if there wasn't so much fuss about it, if it wasn't so much war and debate back and forth about it, and so much threat of what may happen to him from a financial standpoint, and also from the standpoint of losing the thing that he loves to do, which is play basketball. You know, there are people in the medical field who intentionally set out to be in the medical field because this is something that they fell in love with. That service towards people, they fell in love with that, and they intentionally set out to do that. And now they're in that same position where they've been threatened to do something that they don't want to do, or something they don't agree with, and now they run the risk of not just losing money, but being removed from the profession that they're passionate about. So that's what we're talking about, man. Who is able to withstand the weight of the pressure when it comes? I made a video the other day called "The Walls Are Closing In," and they absolutely are. So it's Andrew Wiggins today. It's this person here today. It's this person. It's this high-profile celebrity figure today. But tomorrow is you at your job. It's her at her job. It's your children at their school. So what do y'all got to say about it, man? We're going to go into y'all's mind a little earlier than usual tonight. And like I said, I really don't plan on being long, man. I just wanted to touch on this. And at the end, hopefully, God willing, can provide some tips that can bolster our fortitude when it comes to that. See what y'all talking about. Aaron Vasquez said he went off, and yes, he did. And again, like I said, we're not slandering. We're not gonna slander Andrew Wiggins or anybody else. Of course, if a person is in agreement with that, then they're in agreement with it. There's nothing to talk about. But when somebody clearly is doing something, we've all been in situations where we've done something that we just didn't really want to do. You can go all the way back. Peer pressure has been around since elementary school. When somebody says, "Hey, man, let's skip school," and you're not the type of person that would skip school. You would never skip school. You fear your parents and you respect, and plus you like school if that's you. And all of a sudden, your friends get together and they decide they're gonna skip the day, and then you like, "Nah, I don't really want." And they start calling you scared. They start calling you a square. They start talking about, how your mama's boy and all this different stuff that they'll say to trigger you and to make you want to prove that you would do something that is against what you feeling, what you should be doing, whatever principles you stand on. But that pressure of wanting to have that acceptance from people who clearly don't care about you, because the deal is we don't understand that as young people. We don't understand that people who really care about you will never intentionally try to influence you to do something that could be damaging to you. Y'all feel what I'm saying? If I care about you, I'm not gonna say, "Hey, man, you ought to snort this. You ought to really, man, you ought to smoke this, man." I may be a drug addict, but I'm not gonna try to coerce somebody who's not to do what I do. Man, man, this gonna get you so high. If I care about you. If I don't care nothing about you, then yeah, have at it. Misery loves company. So if there's a situation where people are around you trying to get you to do things that your inner voice, your your inner voice would tell you, there's always even sometimes, even before the voice comes in your head, there's a feeling that you get when people when something enters your system verbally that don't sit right with you. You automatically kind of get a jolt like, that's even before the voice comes, because just your natural defenses reject whatever it is they trying to influence you and gas you up to do. Then the voice comes in and say, "Hey, man, hey, don't do, man, go home, bro. Go home. They telling you we finna ride and finna go get these, man, we gonna go get these dudes, we gonna do this, we gonna do that. And they tell you if you don't go, then you ain't one of us, or whatever they tell you. But you gotta live for you. And that's the mistake that we make a lot, man. You gotta live for you. I can't live for the approval and the acceptance of somebody that's trying to put me in some grease. And we got to use common sense and have enough fortitude to say, nah, if you not my friend no more, because I'm telling you I'm not going to do this, then you just not my friend no more. You never was. If I'm not going to be able to work at your job because I refuse to do this, then that's not my job. That job was never for me. And if I'm a believer in God, if I'm a believer that a most high creator, a higher power, a supreme being has my best interest in heart and that looks out for me, then he's gonna protect me and he's gonna reward my fortitude. He's gonna reward my ability to stand up and reject something that is not good for me. Not just gonna leave me stuck out. It's not gonna do it. But our problem is we seek the acceptance of this world more than we seek the acceptance from God. We all guilty of that on different levels. So the things that this world is able to provide us, and notice I use the word the things, because that's all it is things. Money is a thing. The lifestyle is a thing. All of these things are just fleeting little entities that come and go. But your true self, the self you got to look at in the mirror, the self you got to walk around with every day and have conversations with, the self that you have to now face those of us who applauded your original stance and they know what you stand on, and they have the disappointment of now having to watch you go against your principles, knowing you didn't want to do that. And again, it's not for nobody to condemn you. It's just that we get strength from other strong people. We get strength from other strong people. That's always been the case. Anytime that from when we were young all the way to the present, I don't care if you're 60 years old, when you see a person stand up strong and they're standing up against what is perceived to be the most powerful people, they standing up against what is perceived to be the possibility of great loss and great punishment from those powerful people. And then you see somebody stand up strong against that and not fearing the consequences, that gives us strength. We can all name leaders and athletes or whoever that we saw on TV and was like, wow, he really said that to those people. Then he backed it up. He doubled down on it. He stood on it. So now they serve as an example to when we are in those types of positions. When we are in those types of positions, those people serve as examples for us to draw from to say, okay, I'm going to stand the same way she stood up. I'm going to stand the same way he stood up. So we get strength from each other. You in school and you see somebody just bullying everybody. They punking everybody. Everybody's scared of them. Then one day you see that one dude who stands up to the bully and not just stands up to him in words or faces off with him, but stands up to him and fights him. And when they stand up to the bully, what usually happens is they strip away the aura of invincibility that this bully had on everybody. Because now you look at him and say, well, you know what, man, he ain't so tough. This guy stood up to this dude and fixed his business. He ain't that tough. Now the bully loses respect. Now everybody want a piece of him. I think I can beat him too. So that's what happens when people speak truth to power and they stand on it. Because a lot of times I saw a statement. I see you, Gary Cameron. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you so much. I saw a statement. It was on a meme and it had Minister Farrakhan's picture on it. I don't know factually if the words are the minister's words, but they put him next to the words. So I'm assuming that this is a quote from the minister. And it said that courage looks like insanity to a coward. Courage looks like insanity to a coward. And the reason why I can believe and bear witness to that statement is because many times we've seen people who said things and stood up to the powers, and you watching them on TV or something, or you see it on YouTube or the internet or something, and then when they say it, you way at your house in another state, another country, and you get scared. You're like, ooh, he crazy. How many of y'all heard some of them scary sellout people talking? Man, boy, I can't believe he talking to them people like that. Man, he crazy. Did you hear how he said? Man, them people gonna kill him. How many times y'all heard somebody say that about somebody? Man, them folks gonna kill him. Man, he crazy. See? That's because courage looks like insanity to a coward. Because in the person's mind who they're calling the guy crazy, in that person's mind, they're saying, I would never say nothing like that. I would never, ever fix my lips. That's why you hear about the men who are so bold that they will actually say and do things that the average person is scared to even think about. They will say and do things that the average person is scared to think about because the weight of public opinion, the weight of public massive slander, ridicule that comes down on you when you speak an unpopular opinion that goes against the opinion that the powers want to push. It goes against the agenda. So they send everybody in action after you. All of the outlets are talking about you. And that pressure starts to sit on your head. Only a handful of people in history since the time of modern communication, meaning TV, radio, internet. There's only been a handful of people who could withstand the weight of that kind of pressure. When every news outlet is talking about how dumb you are, how ignorant you are, how false your ideology is, how selfish you are, how uninformed you are, when in fact it's really the opposite. So you're getting this from all directions. Then your phone start ringing and your people is worried about you. And a lot of times we stand on principles or we have beliefs that our people, and when I say our people, I mean family and friends, family and close friends they don't have those same beliefs. They don't understand. Or they may actually think and kind of agree with the media's perspective of the situation. So they are worried about you because they know you, they love you, and they worried about you. But in their mind, they like, I wish he would just, I'm so worried about him. I just wish he would just go ahead and do it. And just quit talking about those, keep them people name out your mouth because they're worried about you. They don't want anything to happen to you, and they don't want to see you lose what the devil gave you. So in one sense, that is it's understandable for your people to not want to see you go down that road just out of that concern, but you got to let them know, hey, watch out. I'm good because I've done my due diligence and I'm speaking through what I've learned and researched. But also, if I've never researched nothing in my life, I'm standing on my feeling, what's inside of me that's making me say, nah, something ain't right about this. I don't want to allow myself to be violated in a way that doesn't sit right with me. What research have you done? You might say, I ain't done no research. I've mentally and spiritually made a decision that this is not something natural to me. And it's foreign to me. And I don't know enough to just volunteer my arm. So the brother went on and did what he did. The brother went on and did what he did. And I'm not beating him up. It's just that sometimes that pressure gets a little too heavy for some people. Let me see what y'all talking about up in here, man. Thought I saw Tina Peter OG up in here. I was running my mouth and the thing was moving. Man, every parent disown their children if they decide to live by their truth. Make me understand that one. Keep the movement on the move. What's up, Tola? No question. And God. See what y'all saying. They're scared they'll lose their comfort in society. Safety for the weak, for the gluttons and greedy. We subconsciously, I won't say in a way it's subconsciously, we worship those powers. We worship those material things, and we worship that lifestyle. We make those things a god besides God himself. This is what we do. And whether, like I say, consciously or subconscious, this is a mistake that we make. Because if we truly had faith in the Creator, the second that the threat is placed before us that this is what you're going to lose if you don't do this, it wouldn't take but a second for us to say, okay, well, I guess this is my last day. So be it. Because we all like to use that term, God got me. I hear people say it all the time, man, I ain't ready. God got me. God got me. But we use that statement when it comes to arguing about stupid stuff. You arguing and fighting with your husband or your wife, and they say something to you, then you'll throw that out. Oh, well, I ain't worried about you. God got me. But do you believe God got you when it comes to a job? Do we believe God got us when it comes to them stripping away everything that we have? Why God ain't got you then? See? If we claim to not want to do anything based on religious beliefs, did somebody attacks you for that? Do God got you? Don't use it when it's convenient. Don't use it when it's easy to use. Use it when it's tough to use, when it's got to be proven, when it got to really be proven. Then let me see you say, God got me, and then show that. That's all of us. I ain't just hollering and fussing at y'all. I'm fussing and hollering at myself too. Tina P, thank you for the love, Queen. Got to stand on it, man. Got to stand on it, man. What example are we setting if we go back on something we've so beautifully stood on publicly? We stood on it so beautifully publicly, but they know how to hit us where it hurts. And they'll just wait it out. No, he'll come around. I'm not worried. He'll be around. And then they get other celebrities to try to shame or speak down on the individual who's taking their stand, and get to talking about what they would do or what should happen or this and that, so you feel that pressure. What we got, man? I see you, Jedediah. Tina P said, like Peter on the water with Christ. I'm going to tell you about that because that's a good example of exercising faith on the highest level. Tina P, that's a good example. Ooh, that's a good example. And let me say this here. Y'all don't have to be so-called religious or to understand this principle that I'm getting ready to explain. Those who are knowledgeable of scripture, they understand, they're familiar with the verse about Peter and the Christ and Jesus on the boat. And Peter was on the boat, and the boat was in danger. Where Jesus was telling Peter to come out to him. And Peter got out of the boat and started walking on the water towards the master. And then, as it said in the scriptures, he took his eyes off the master. And when he took his eyes off the master, he started to sink. And I saw this animated piece about that years ago when I was younger. And they had it animated, even though they had the depictions of Jesus was white and all that. I let that slide because I was putting the principle. But Peter took his eyes off the master and he started to sink in the water and drown. And he reached up and called out to Jesus to save him. And Jesus pulled him up and said, "Why did you doubt? O ye of little faith." What I want y'all to know, and I'm thankful to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and his teachings, because he taught us to understand what that scripture really means. And what that scripture really means is it's not to be taken in a literal sense, like Jesus was just standing on some water somewhere and then Peter started walking on that same water. That's physically impossible. We never lived in a mystical, magical world like that. What it means is that he was calling Peter out to do the work. And Peter started walking on the water. Jesus was already standing on the water. The water represents the people. The people were holding him up. He started losing his faith. He took his eyes off the master. In other words, he wasn't focused on the teachings like he should have been. He took his eyes off the master. And when he took his eyes off the master, he started to sink because he lost his focus. Started doubting, he lost his faith. And as he was sinking, then he called back up to the master, and the master pulled him up. But the water is the people. So we got to make sure that when we stand strong and the people get up under us and hold us up for taking that stand, I told you we get strength from other strong people. When we start to get that strength from other strong people, then guess what? We got to stay focused. Because when you take that stand, what is the master thinking? The master is like, yeah, they're getting it. He's standing up, doing what I would have did. Remember them bumper stickers? What would Jesus do? Everybody, what would t-shirts? What would Jesus do? We know Jesus wasn't his name. Y'all don't come after me. I'm using that as just to be able to make everybody understand what we're talking about. But we say, what would Jesus do? WWJD. So that's what he would do. He would stand and speak that truth to the power and not even be worried about the consequences. Right? So when we do it, you make the master proud. But then when you lose it, it's like, picture a father watching his son play football, and he in the stands. The father has taught the son everything he knows about the game. He trained him. Then the game starts, they hand the ball off to the son, and he gone. 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, he's gone. The father is standing up, he's proud, he's like, he's doing good, he's doing good. Then the son turn around and look one way and do something else and get hit and the ball strip out his hand, and that dad go, oh, gotta stay focused. Gotta stay focused. See? Drop your locations, man. You know I gotta show love to everybody up in here, man. Drop your locations. Codeine. My people suffer from a lack of knowledge for real. But you know what, Aunt? That's a great statement. But you know what else? Because that's a scripture. My people perish for the lack of knowledge. But we also suffer and perish from a lack of courage. Because here's what we got to understand. It's a whole lot of us that got knowledge. A lot of people know a lot of stuff. A lot of people know what to do. A lot of us got knowledge. But a lot of us fear telling what we know, spreading that knowledge because of potential consequences. So if there are people out there who have done research and they have become knowledgeable about the punch in the arm, right? Every time I do this, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? If there are people who have become who have educated themselves, because that's what they say, you got to do the research. If people have educated themselves, and this is what I don't like. I don't like when people say, well, you ain't a doctor. You ain't a scientist. Well, the same way that the scientist and the doctor had to go through a course of study to learn and know what they know, we may not have done it for 7 years, 10 years, because we were not striving to be in that profession. But there's enough information available to where you can gain through research, you can gain solid, credible, truthful knowledge and information about these subjects. And you can absolutely defend your points based on what you research and what you study. So you ain't got to be a doctor. Somebody tell me, you ain't a doctor. I know. So at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we are not afraid to speak what we know. What's the point of learning it? Why would you learn a new language? Somebody say, man, I want to learn a new language, man. I'm going to get me a Rosetta Stone thing. Or I'm going to get, what's the other one where you learn? I'm going to learn a new language. Then you take all this time learning this new language. Then you go to a country where they speak that language, that's their native tongue, and you don't even speak it. No, I ain't gonna do it. Or somebody is in a situation where they need help, and they say, man, does anybody in here speak Spanish? We need, this lady needs help, but she can't speak. Does anybody? And you're, nah. What's the point of learning something? What's the point of acquiring knowledge if you don't utilize the wisdom to make the knowledge have value? I see you, Tina P. Appreciate the love as usual, man. I told you at this point I done ran out of words. appreciate your knowledge too. Appreciate that more. Orange County, Birmingham. Shout out to Victoria, Texas this weekend. We had a meet and greet out there. Alabama, Arizona. Alabama repping hard. Temple, Texas. Detroit. D-Town in the building. South Africa. Rhode Island. London. Lockhart, Texas. Bethpage, New York. I never heard of Bethpage, New York, man. I appreciate you coming through. Oregon. Oakland, California. Oaktown. The O. Let us make man in our own image and likeness. They got a few meanings. The fifth dimension, Orange County, Houston, Texas. I see you. Alice, Texas. Chris Clevercraft, what's the difference between water, bread, and meat? Enlighten us. Vil Caron, my brother. What's up, man? I ain't gonna say your real name. But you know you my guy. We coming back out that way soon. Glasgow. The true Hebrews, Judah tribe, or in America. Knowledge is a gift. Magic Weed said knowledge is a gift. How would you feel if somebody gave you a gift, or if you gave somebody a gift and they just discarded it? They just didn't utilize it at all. Somebody bought you somebody a vacuum cleaner. Every time you come to their house, it's grit and dirt and crap all on the carpet. Like, this dude don't never use his vacuum cleaner I bought him. It would be disappointing. That is my assumption of how the Creator feels when we don't spread the knowledge that we were blessed with. Knowledge is a gift. Magic Weed just taught us that. Knowledge is a gift. Oklahoma. What's up, Terry J? Tina P. Timing. K for real said being a doctor is a practice. Ooh, man, y'all be dropping some bombs, man. The uneducated look at you like you crazy because of the knowledge we know. Sometimes, Luis, my bad, brother. Sometimes the educated look at you crazy because of the knowledge that you know. And I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. When you got your letters, and when I mean your letters, I mean when you have received your degrees of scholarship from this world, then when your knowledge seems to come from somewhere, from a source that they are not familiar with, but it all lines up and they know it lines up, those who are among the educated, they'll look at you like you crazy, or they'll declare that you crazy. They'll say you crazy because you're not speaking it from the angle that they got it from, that they learned it from. Well, what college did you go to? What university did they teach you this at? I got a degree from Yale. I got a degree from Stanford. I got a degree from this university or that university. They never taught us that. You got a degree. That's what you got. One degree. But all knowledge doesn't come from the same source in this world. God is the source of all knowledge. But just because what's being taught, let's use I'll come more into y'all's world, because of course I'm gonna lean on anything that Elijah Muhammad said. But for those who love Dr. Sabi, And we all got love for Dr. Sebi. When Dr. Sebi was among us, when he was teaching what he was teaching on nutrition and all the things he was teaching about, and people were implementing those things, and according to multiple testimonies, they worked for a lot of people. There were people who were so-called educated who were saying that, oh, that Dr. Sebi stuff that's not accurate. Y'all are being foolish to follow that. They said the same thing about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and how to eat to live when he teaches when it got out that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching his followers to eat one meal a day. I can remember saying that to people, and people are like, man, you crazy, one meal a day? And you know what they follow that up with? They'll say, man, you supposed to eat 3 meals a day. According to who? According to the so-called educated, who do not, despite, like the bruh said, despite this being their practice, because the key word practice, that's something that you repetitiously do. So despite this being your practice and your profession, you don't have any knowledge or understanding of why it's more beneficial for you to eat 1 time a day as opposed to eating 3, like you've been taught. In America, in this world, you taught to eat 3 meals a day because of money. The more food you eat, the more money you got to spend to eat that food. So if you eating 3 meals a day by yourself, that's 21 meals a week. Oh, but what if you got a wife? Oh, what if you got 2 or 3 children? Oh, do the math. You're spending a lot of money. And you're spending money on bad food. You're spending money on genetically modified food. You're spending money on chemically loaded food. You're spending money on fake food. Vegetables without seeds in them. See? But you're spending money. Then a man come along and say, well, no, you should actually just eat 1 meal a day because you got to give your body at least a full day to flush out any toxins, rid itself of any toxins that come from the food that we eat. The things in the air, the things in the water, all this different stuff. So if you never heard that, it's like, oh, whoa, that's dumb. No, it's not. And now they coming around bearing witness to it. They changing the language and saying, well, you know, it's less is more, and they saying the same thing. They just changing it up because they don't want to give credit where it's due. So it's the educated. They use the educated to try to throw you off track when you do acquire some knowledge. When you do wake up, they got to come with the educated fools to throw you off track, to get you back right. And they can talk good, or should I say, they speak well. I try not to be hood all the time. We're in times, if you ain't growing it yourself, we're screwed. If you're not growing it yourself, you're screwed. So start you up a garden and make your own food. I see you, Bill. I had to give you a little bar in there with that. I just added a bar onto your, we did this together. Gary Cameron said, it's practically impossible to track down a copy of How to Eat to Live. Let me help you out, bro. All you gotta do, it's It's the opposite of impossible. You can get a copy of How to Eat to Live right now. Go to noi.org and order you a copy of How to Eat to Live book 1 and 2. You can do that right now. It's not hard to get How to Eat to Live, bro. Go to NOI. You got to get it from the source. Your library is not going to stock it. You got to get it from the nation. So pressure bust pipes and people. Because when we are told that this is right, this is the right way, this is it, this is it, this is it, and if you're not doing it this way, then you're a fool, or we're gonna take something from you, it puts the pressure on us and worries us into doing it. Lil Nas X came out and says, it's not fun being gay no more. I want to go back to messing with women again. He made that statement earlier. But here's what we got to understand, because there's a couple of schools of thought on that. This goes back to the pressure. It's a couple of schools of thought on that. Some people are saying, well, it was all an act because he's playing to that agenda, because he's trying to attract that audience and get those sales and build that audience, and the sympathizers of that audience are going to cling on to that. So he was never gay or this or that or whatever. Then other people say, well, no, he's just trolling. But the point is, the real point is that the people who are not trolling, but controlling the industry, they push him to push that agenda, whether he is or whether he ain't. They push him to push that agenda. And that's pressure. Because even if he is gay, he might not want to just push that all the time. He might not want to just always be showing that all the time. But they'll come to you and say, look, this is what's making you money. This got you hot. Keep going, keep going, keep going. See? So he may be trolling based on who's controlling. But nonetheless, everything we do has a direct effect on our young people. Everything they see us do, when they see us crack under the pressure, there are some that are going to go, well, I guess just when they put that pressure on you, I better fear them too. I saw my hero fold and he feared them, so they must be worthy of me fearing them. But there's other ones that's going to just look at you as weak. Well, hey, he weak, he fell off. He was my hero. I ain't going to be like that, because this generation ain't scared of nothing. These youngsters ain't scared of nothing. They'll spit in Satan's face. See? Can't just speak it. We got to lead by example. That's right. I was proud to see Brother Andrew Wiggins take that stand that he took. I'm still proud of him for standing up. But I want us to I want us to stay on our feet. I don't want us to to fall off, man. They gonna come, man. They gonna come. They gonna come to you at your job. They gonna tell you, hey, man, we're requiring that everybody gets. They gonna come to you with that. And if you are in favor of it, you're not gonna have no problem. You're gonna, okay, well, no, you might say, hey, I already am. Thank you, sir. But if you ain't, and you ain't with that, that becomes your fight. That becomes your war. That becomes your decision. What decision are you gonna make when you got rent to pay, bills to pay? Hey, man, I get it. But remember, God got me. God got you, man. Stand on that. K-Rino, don't bow down, stand firm. It's all out war. Incentives and all. Boy, y'all dropping them back to back. Playtime is over. Aaron Vasquez said they can behead me. That's a soldier. And again, it's a lot of people that'll say what they'll do until they're faced with the prospect of actually having to prove what they'll do. Give me 3 more likes if y'all haven't hit the like button already, man. I promised I wasn't gonna be on here long, but I want y'all to please, whatever your principles are, man, stand on them. If it don't sit right with your spirit, appreciate y'all. If it don't sit right with y'all spirit, and you know it's not right for you, and you've done your research, stand on it. Don't care about what the media say. No disrespect, but you can't worry about what your loved ones feel about it, because you want to be here for them. Lone Pheasant says, remember this, always tell it like it is, no matter who it offends, and always stand your ground, even if it means being shot down. It reminds me of Mr. Farrakhan. Says, speak the truth regardless of the consequences. That's hard sometimes, but it's the actual truth. All right, man. Much love to y'all, man. I appreciate y'all time. I'm going to keep my word tonight. Peace.